Hello students, so I am back with another video, and this video is very important video because it will help you to attempt at least one or two questions. And this video is on poetic devices, figure of speech. Now because you will be getting RTC not only from poetry, from prose also. So this question or knowledge of poetic devices, we can say, becomes all the more important. So let's start with the first poetic device, that is simile. Very commonly used, but we can revise. We can start from simile itself. Now where is simile used? When do we write that this poetic device is simile? Simile is when there is some comparison, when comparison is done. Example, she is as beautiful as a rose. It means girl's beauty is compared to rose, and here as word is used to show the comparison. Okay, she is like rose, like word is used. It means her beauty is compared to rose using the word as or like. So this is simile. Second poetic device is metaphor. Now what is metaphor? Again, this metaphor is also used for comparison. But what is the difference between simile and metaphor? In metaphor, we do not use any extra word to show the comparison. He is the lion of the community. He is the lion. It means the boy's bravery is compared to the bravery of the lion. If we say he is as brave as a lion, it will become simile. But here we say he is the lion. When we say he is the lion, naturally comparison is done. We understand, and then we will say this is metaphor. Then third poetic devices, we can say personification. Again, very common. Personification means when some human traits are given to non-living. Means when non-living things are treated as if they are living things. Like, for example, we can say it was a furious storm. Now what is furious? Furious is actually used very angry. It is used for human beings, not for non-living things. But when we say this is a furious storm, here the figure of speech, the poetic device you would write would be personification. This is personification. Or we can say one more example we can take. The cyclone devoured everything. Okay, means devoured means to destroy, to eat, to finish. Actually, devour word again we use for living, but here we are using it for non-living. It means this figure of speech, this poetic device would be personification. So the next is imagery. Imagery, we can say the function of imagery is to give a graphic representation, or we can say it appeals to the reader's senses. I think you understand 5 senses. Okay, so imagery is to appeal to that one of the senses, or maybe all the senses. Example is, the stone fell with a splash in the lake. So here the word splash is giving you an image. You can very well see maybe stone in your imagination falling down with a splash in the lake. So here we can say, using this word splash is example of imagery. Next poetic device, is repetition. Repetition is when some word is repeated to give, or we can say to give more meaning or to emphasize on one particular thing. Example, the teacher said, work, work, and work hard because it will make your life a worthwhile, a worth living. Okay, so it means work, work, work is emphasized because teacher wanted to emphasize, actually to convey this message only, that working hard is very, very important in one's life. Next is alliteration. Now alliteration is when first sound is repeated. In repetition, the full word is repeated, but in alliteration, sound is repeated. For example, Nick needed new notebooks. So this sound of N is repeated. So this is alliteration. Next comes irony. Now irony is when there is a, we can say, marked difference, very clear difference, what is said and what is meant. This is irony. Example is, Titanic was said to be unsinkable, but it sank on its first voyage. So this became irony, that when it was made, it was announced in the world that this will never sink. This is unsinkable. But what happened? It sank on its maiden voyage, first voyage. So this is irony. Next in the list is symbols. Okay, sometimes we say yes, symbols are used. Now symbols means when some particular word, some particular character is portrayed in such a way that it gives a wider meaning in the context. Best example, we can say Shakespeare's Macbeth. It's a play. I think you might have heard or read something about this play. In that play, blood is used to portray the inner conscience. Whenever Macbeth would, we can say, that because he had murdered the king, and that's why whenever he would think about that blood, his inner conscience would be there to prick him. So this blood is used to give wider perspective. So this is, we can say, symbol. Next in the list comes hyperbole. Hyperbole is when exaggerations are done. Means when we want to exaggerate something. Okay, the things are written in such a way that you can understand this is not normal thing. Maybe this is not possible. Only exaggerations are done. Example is, one sentence we can say, I could do this forever. Naturally, nothing we can do forever. Okay, maybe we love it, but even then, not forever. But we do exaggerations. Okay, that I can do it forever. Yes, I love watching movies. I can do it 24 hours. But this is not possible. So this is called exaggeration, and this is example of hyperbole. Next comes oxymorons. Okay, oxymorons means when two contradictory words are used together to give a new meaning. Two contradictory words are used together. For example, my nation sent peace force. Now these two words are very contradictory words. Peace and then force. Force is opposite to peace. But we are using these two words together, giving it a new meaning. And then last one, 11th, is transferred epithet. Transferred epithet is when modifier is actually transferred to give a new meaning. Maybe you may not understand this way. Example. Example, we can say suicidal sky. If we say suicidal sky, actually sky cannot be suicidal. Okay. But what does it imply? It means to say that maybe sky is so dark, it is looking so dull, that maybe it is making someone more depressed. Okay. And that someone can maybe think of committing suicide also. Okay. Or one more example, she has unhappy marriage. So marriage cannot be unhappy. Okay. But maybe the person is not happy with the marriage, and that's why we use unhappy word with marriage. Okay. She has unhappy marriage. So these are the poetic devices. These are the common ones which you may need in class 11th or maybe in class 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. So with these examples, you try to learn these poetic devices and try to learn these examples, because when the example comes to your mind, because sometimes we forget the poetic device, but the thing is, if the example comes in your mind, the things become more clear. Now in the next video, I would be for especially class 12th. Now in next video, I would be taking now poems along with the poetic devices. I will be taking now poems, and then from those particular poems, we will be talking about the poetic devices used in those poems. I hope you have understood, and now just wait for my next video. Thank you.